Hello, everybody. I am recording a video about stress. My name is Dr. KeriAnne Moon, and I am here with you today to kind of go over some things that we can do, especially during COVID-19 and the social distancing part that can really create a lot of stress and also the uncertainty of what's going on can also create a lot of different types of worries that we deal with. So I'm here today to talk to you about some things that we can do to help with that. So some steps that we can take. This is something that I think is going to be really important. And if we take these steps each day and we model these steps for those in our family and those that are around us, I think that we can collectively help the stress and anxiety to decrease. So the first part is really just looking at awareness. So noticing where you carry your stress, noticing what part of your body has stress in it, noticing how you react and what your emotions do when you're under stress, and then also paying attention to any somatic complaints that you may have or that those around you may have. All of that awareness can really be used as information to help understand what type of skills we might need to be doing and what we can build into our routine. So for example, when I experience stress, I often have lots of tension in my shoulders and lots of tension in my neck. This also could be from computer use, which also may cause us stress. So knowing that that is part of the body that really carries stress for myself, I often have to just stop, take a deep breath, and pay attention to that part of my body. And notice, is it more tense than it was a little while ago? Is it feeling better? How is it feeling? Again, that creates an awareness to kind of build and give us information on what we should be doing next. As I do want to also talk about with stress, emotions can go up and down, which we call labile. You can also have irritability, just general fatigue feeling. And those are very important things to pay attention to. If we're not aware of those things happening, we might not understand the care that we need to have with our emotions and the care that we need to have with ourselves to continue to do well. Okay, the next thing that we really need to look at is routine. This for children is very, very helpful. Having a routine is just something that that kids like. They're not going to say they like it, but really having a routine and some structure throughout the day helps understand what's coming next and decreases worry and anxiety and that feeling of lack of control, because the understanding of what is happening and what will happen are stable. So the one thing that I'm going to say is that flexibility is really important at a time like this. Sometimes when we have that awareness of what's going on within our body, what's going on within our emotions, we can take a step back and go, okay, so I've been staring at a computer for 25 minutes. I've read the same sentence 5 times. I should probably look at my body, see if I'm having any tension or fatigue or any emotions. And if I am, understand, okay, I need to be flexible. I need to do some self-care right now rather than just trying to continue and continue. Because pushing through just helps push down the stress and the worry and the anxiety, and then I promise it has to come out eventually. And what I say is it usually comes out sideways. And coming out sideways is having that irritable irritable response, or the response that wouldn't normally have happened, and or an over-exaggerated response, something that we may not have had the same level of response as we had before. So things coming out sideways is a good indication that we need to bring awareness to our mind and our body quicker, and that we really need to look at flexibility to stop, take some time for self-care, and then continue on with what our routine is. Okay, so now my favorite part. This is skills, and my favorite part about skills is the fact that we all have coping skills. We all do. Some of them are adaptive, some of them are maladaptive. The maladaptive coping skills are things that that may distract us. They may help short term, but they don't give us a continuous long response for stress relief. So we really want to focus on adaptive coping skills. So if you find yourself in that maladaptive realm, then I would try to replace that maladaptive coping skill with an adaptive coping skill. So an adaptive coping skill could be anything from walking outside your house and walking around, whether that be your neighborhood, your yard, or just literally walking around your house. If you live in an apartment, it could be a balcony, it could be walking into a different room, some place that is different than the place you were. I am a huge proponent for walking outside. We all need sun to help us, and so being outside, having some physical activity outside is going to be very, very helpful. The next thing, physical activity, exercise, anything that can get your blood moving is going to help with stress and anxiety or worry. And physical activity, being outside, these are things that you can put into your day that you have control over, which can also decrease stress because it's something that you can do and you know you can do. Okay, so the next one is breathing. If you're finding yourself holding your shoulders up to your ears, as a matter of fact, right now, just try to see if you can lower your shoulders anymore, and if you can take some steps to kind of to relax yourself. If you're having a lot of stress and a lot of tension, one thing that I would say is that breathing is going to be very important. So we do a lot of belly breathing to decrease stress, and that is in your belly, filling up a balloon while you inhale, and then exhale, you're letting the air out of the balloon. So one thing that I would always say is that really try hard to breathe in slowly, hold for a couple, and then breathe out more slow than you would have breathed in. So breathing in for 6 or 8, holding for 2, and breathing out for 8 to 10 would be appropriate. It really helps our body feel like we have some control, and it really kicks in our frontal lobe. When we're stressed, we are rarely in our frontal lobe, and we're really not thinking clearly or rationally. So really doing this breathing really kicks in our frontal lobe and helps us in the long run. A couple of other things that I'm just going to say, that eating well and sleeping well are things that are just very important, not only for stress, but just for general well-being. And if we can't eat well or sleep well, then I can tell you that that really does affect our mind and our body, and that ability to kind of handle stress and worry is going to be something that's not as easy. So really building in that eating well and sleeping well routine is going to be important. So I'm going to take you to a website that has some more information on it. So this is a resource website, and I have the resource website on mooninthehills.com. It is also, a lot of these resources are on the Austin Waldorf website as well, so by all means, you're more than welcome to look at them there as well. So the first one that I'm going to point you to is the Child Mind Institute. This resource is a long list of things of how to help during COVID-19. with children, with families, teenagers, small children, how to talk with children developmentally appropriate about the virus, how to not let your anxiety pass on to your children when you're worried about the uncertainties of how things are going. Just lots of great information is on this website. There is also a link for a breathing meditation for kids and mindfulness music. These are really great activities that you can do when you've done that awareness check and you've gone, oh, you know what, I really do feel like I need to take a break and do some awareness. Clicking on one of these is going to be very helpful. A colleague of mine, Dr. Erica Nason, came up with this, all of these resources, which I really am very grateful for. So these are all activities that you can do for self-care and for adaptive coping. Some of them cost money and some of them are free. So playing board games online with friends, watching a Broadway play, watching, my kids love this, they watch the Penguins all the time, visiting the Smithsonian, looking at different apps that you can use on an iPad or Kindle or a phone are also very helpful. Attending an online support group can also be very helpful. If you have any religious or spiritual services that you can look at and look for, that can also be very helpful. Looking at physical activity and some things that you can do for physical activity is also helpful. Education and employment, TED Talks, online learning, very, very cool stuff, and stuff that's free right now is really very cool. How to build community, having friends and family Zoom together, especially while social distancing. And then some different tasks, apps, or planners that you can do. I can tell you that one of my favorite planners, which isn't on here, one of my favorite planners is called the Inner Guide Planner, and I find it really helpful. It's about goals, but it's about life goals and daily goals that lead into your life goals, not just an agenda of what to do for that day. It includes that kind of stuff too, but so Inner Guide I really do like as well. Okay, the couple last things on here are different free activities that can really be helpful during this time. So cognitive diffusion is a really good way of, especially when you have a lot of stress and worry and some thoughts going through your head that are kind of going over and over and over again, and you're getting down to a place where you're going down a rabbit hole. Really looking at this exercise as to bring you back to present and be able to do that awareness check. So Leaves on a Stream, it's all about having your thoughts and diffusing them, taking them apart from the feelings and behaviors that you may be having. So noticing them, understanding that they're there, and then letting them float on by. So it's accepting thoughts, accepting what they're doing for you, but then not having them raise your blood pressure or increase a certain feeling. So really love Leaves on a Stream. It's a good cognitive diffusion exercise. The other two that I put in here, one is yoga and the other Qigong. I really like both of these things. Yoga for anxiety, and then also having a daily routine of Qigong can just be really helpful to kind of not only raise awareness, but have that ability to reset, which is really important. So those are really good daily activities. And if you're just having a really hard time, I think one of the things that I have found really helpful is grounding techniques. So being able to be present right now and what's going on, instead of thinking about the past or concentrating on the future, being present right now can really decrease our stress and anxiety. A lot of times what we're doing is we're playing the what if game. Well, what if this happens? What if this happens? What if this happens? And generally when we play the what if game, it increases our stress and anxiety, and we don't ever get an answer. Because we aren't there yet. So being brought back right into the present where we need to be is very helpful. So using a grounding technique can be really great. Using your 5 senses is also really helpful to ground you in the present. So those are some really great tools and resources that I have found very helpful. Again, mooninthehillswellness.com, and then also on the Austin Waldorf website. Let me know if you have questions. You can email me. My handle is kmoon at the austinwaldorf.org, or KeriAnne at mooninthehillswellness.com. Thank you all, and I hope that you have a wonderful good time.